have the sellers read and sign the escrow refund letter. This is your explanation to them and their acknowledgement that you will rate the escrow refunds for the future and that they are assigning your current escrow account to you. So all that taxes and insurance has been paid into the escrow account so that come the end of the year when it's time to pay, that the money is there. Okay, very important. So this is one letter that you want to make sure that you get signed and don't forget. Now, that's the value of the checklist that you're going to get as well to make sure you have all these things covered. You don't want sellers to think that they rate that refund because it's not theirs anymore. And this letter tells them that. Over the years, we've put together a list of things that, you know, you need to acquire from the seller. And this list will tell you all that. You know, it's things like a copy of the mortgage statement, a copy of the survey if they have it, a copy of their HUD-1 if they have it, any special disclosures they had that may be helpful to you in putting together your package on the property. You know, come closing, you got to have the keys, you got to have the alarm codes, you got to have the garage door remotes, you got to have the online access, all those kinds of things so that you don't miss a beat. You want to have all these things. And I think we were going to add, I don't know if we did, but we will be adding, we need your forwarding address. We need your new phone number, your new email, things like that, so that if we have a need to reach you, and we're going to talk more about this in here shortly, but if we have a need to reach you, we know how to reach you. Fill out and have the seller sign the receipt of documents for subject to. Now, I don't use this much anymore because this was back in the day when I used to get a lot of this stuff signed at their house, and then I would give them copies and go get it so they would know and have a receipt of all this stuff. But now I do most things. There's a couple documents I sign at the house, but most things are being done, you know, at the title company now. So you can use this checklist if you want to, but it was really an attorney thing, you know, recommending that you give them a receipt so that if there was ever a problem, that seller couldn't come back and say, well, you never gave me this document. I'm sorry, yes, I did. It's right here in this checklist. So that's what this is for. So you can choose to use it if you want to. It'll be in the package for you if you care to use it.
Tim, I got a question.
Hello? Say it again.
Hey, Tim, I got confused on your on that last screen. Yeah, the escrow refund letter. If the loan staying in place, isn't the escrow staying in place? What's the purpose of? Why is there a refund? I guess.
Well, so there's two parts to this, James. First off, it's the disclosure that they don't get the refund. So many times people think when they sell their house, they're going to get a refund of the insurance and prorated taxes. That's not the case. It's not the case in these type of deals. Remember, the loan isn't being paid off, and they've been paying into that escrow refund account all this time. If you don't have the money there, if you let them take that, then you're going to have a shortage. So what we don't want is, and Dave, I think, alluded to this earlier, when you get that insurance, when you put your new insurance on there, there will be a refund of that escrow amount that's left on the account because you have to put the new policy in your name. Okay? So you want to make sure, and this is telling them that they don't rate that refund, it stays with the house. So really, you're just disclosing that they agree to get, let you have that escrow account is really what you're doing.
Okay,
Now,
the refund's what was throwing me because I didn't think they were getting one, and that's what the letter's saying is they're not getting a refund.
that's right. That's exactly what it says. And then the next piece of that is back to the annual review. When the mortgage company does that escrow review, they know, if they've had it long enough, they know that there's usually an annual refund or maybe a refund. And this is disclosing that they don't get that. And it says that if you do receive it, that it will be signed or forwarded and sent to you. So it's our way of trying to make sure that we get all that money and not them. Could you agree? Could you negotiate? Could you let them negotiate that escrow refund to keep it themselves? That's up to you. I'm giving you a tool to say, no, we don't want to do that. We want that money. That's what this letter's doing for you.
Thank you.
Is that okay if you get the money?
Sure.
Thought it might be. So this is one piece that I did not get done, and that was getting a couple samples of my multiple offer letter put together for you to present. So we've been talking a lot about it today, but I did not get it put into the system. So I will give it to you. It's just not in this presentation. So we've been talking about the multiple offers on and off today. But, basically to kind of summarize it, I always give a cash offer. So, but many times on sub 2 deals, cash offer is not going to work, but don't let it stop you from making the cash offer, because I have done that with people, and it depends on how bad they want their credit freed up and back in their name to use it for the future. And sometimes they will pay and bring money to the closing table in order to do that. So don't let it stop you from doing it, but just know that most people it doesn't work for. And then I get creative on the other 2 offers, sometimes 3, where it's a different variation of things we've been talking about. No, just take over the balance, or some money down, or no money down. I always start with taking over the balance. Many times that doesn't work if they got equity in the house. So then you start with nothing down and maybe a chunk of equity at some point in the future, or nothing down in payments is another scenario, or maybe something down and a balloon payment in the future, or something down in monthly payments. So you got several different scenarios there that, again, you have to make sure that you can afford that the deal can afford you making those payments before you start making payments. And that's what these different offer letters, what I'm going to send you is, or make available to you, is the stuff that I've done, real deals. And you're going to see that, I'm not any silver-tongued devil with this stuff, it's just kind of what I want to put in writing based on what I think I heard from the seller. And that's what I would encourage you to do too, is, make it say words that, are like the way you talk and stuff, but make it a solution, make your solution or your offer a solution to their particular problem that they think they have. And if you do that, you're going to win more of those deals. And I mentioned to you earlier that I started doing offers in video, and I would encourage you to take a look at that too, especially in today's environment. And for absentee owners, if they can see it in writing and hear you talking from the heart and how your offer is going to help them solve their problem, you might be amazed at how well it does for you. I've had some pretty good luck with it. Okay, so we kind of did some of this stuff earlier. Do we want to talk about any more deals? You want me to, I didn't tell you about the Granbury deal. Do we want to talk about that one? This is my most recent subject to deal.
Sure.
So this was, this is a mobile home on Lake Granbury. And I typically don't do mobile homes because they usually don't work for me. And this was a call off one of my websites, which, you know, I don't get a lot of them, but, you know, I get a few. And this was a seller that had said that they were trying to move for a family situation up in Michigan. She's a nurse, by the way, so you can imagine how busy she's been since March. But they had tried to sell this property. I found out as we signed this contract, they tried to sell this property 2 other times, had 2 contracts on it, and both of them backed out at the last minute with no explanation of why, which kind of made me antsy, you know, at that point, because I was just there signing the contract when they told me this. Naturally, they didn't tell me it before we signed it. But I don't have a clue, and they say they don't have a clue why that is. But basically, they owed, I think it was $56,000 on this house. And I gave them, I'm looking at my notes. So I gave them $63,000 on this house. I took over the mortgage balance and the interest rate of like 4%. So I have a $463 a month payment on this house. This is right on Lake Granbury. At the time, when I first went in there, you know, I thought it was pretty decent shape. It hadn't been updated, but it looked like it was pretty well taken care of. But they left me with a house full of furniture too. They had a big plasma TV, if any of you remember what plasma TVs were. But big cabinet, couches, chairs was almost new, kitchen table, refrigerator, stove, things like that. And it looked like it could have been rented fairly easy like it was, but then we went and cleaned it all out, and I'm kind of fussy about my properties, so we ended up throwing some paint and carpet in it, replaced an exhaust fan over the stove, put a new stove in it, and decided to make it a rental property. And I'm renting that property for $1,100 a month. It rented almost instantly, which made me think I probably could have rented it for even more. But that buyer, that renter, wants to buy it with owner financing, and we're just giving her a year. I'm purposely waiting a year, see what kind of payment history she establishes with me. This is another reason why I mentioned earlier about you might consider, instead of going straight into a wrap mortgage with your subject to deals, is go rent them for a year, get that payment history established with you so you have a better idea of what to expect if you decide to sell it to them. That does not guarantee anything, by the way, but it does give you an idea of how well they do and will they be paying on time once they buy it. So, yeah, so that was my latest subject to deal. The seller, I was trying to get you a testimonial from them because we made the mistake of not getting, we did get a written testimonial, but I was trying to get you a video testimonial as an example for you, but it is something that's always a challenge, and I do encourage you to work on from day one to try and get those video testimonials from those sellers when you do the deal. Now, what's that property worth? Well, it's hard to comp mobile homes on Lake Granbury, but this is a pretty decent little property now. And they're running, you know, it looks to me like it's 100 to 115,000, somewhere in that area, based on what I see for comps. Again, mobile homes are a little bit different animal. This home happens to be in pretty good shape. So, you know, from an owner finance perspective, that's probably a slam dunk. I paid 63,000, took over a note of like 55, 56, something like that, and then selling it for easily for 110 or more on owner finance. So how many of you would like deals like that?
Sounds good.
Now you know why I'm a mobile home dealer.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't do it. I'll have to keep that in mind. That was Pete, right?
That's correct, sir.
Thank you. I just, you know, I know people, a lot of people that specialize in mobile homes. And
Well, you have to be licensed if you do more than one a year,
yeah,
and they're getting really, pardon the term, tight-assed about it too. So because they're considered vehicles unless they're affixed to the earth.
yeah, it was a whole new ball game for me though, from the closing and going, you know, having to deal with TDH. Well, the title company did, but you know, it turns out it was never registered properly as far as, what is it? Real property? Is that what it is?
Real property, if it's affixed, as in literally cemented, if you will, onto the ground versus still having the chassis underneath it.
Yeah.
It's a conversion process to convert it from an air quotes vehicle into a residence.
Okay. So anyhow, that was all new thing to me. Title company handled it all, so I didn't have to do anything. But the rehab is totally different. You know, all the stuff in it's different. I mean, it was just, you know, we had to order special outlets. We had to order, you know, new bathroom exhaust fan and stuff. But I mean, the property is in really good shape now, and my tenant seems to be tickled to death, and she pays like clockwork. So I like those plans.
Very, very good margins on those.
Yep. And I've heard that so many times, but I just, you know, here's the thing. There's so many things that, and this is important for all of you, there's so many things that you can go do in this business.
Yeah.
You just need to go find your niche where you're comfortable and go do it and stick to it and become the master at those things. And that's kind of what I've done with the subject to stuff. And that subject to stuff works with mobile homes just like it works with houses. So, but go master it before you go off and start doing fix and flips, before you start doing commercial property, multifamily. You know, go master it and become very good. Same with wholesaling. You know, you just don't want to be trying to put 10 different sticks in the fire all at the same time and then not be the master of any of them.
Choose one path and get to know it very well.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so nobody come up with any other deals yet, huh? Okay, do we want to do another case study? I didn't have these, like I said, I didn't have them into the system yet to display. So I can talk about another one if you want. I have two different fix and flip sub twos that I did. You want to talk about either one of those?
Yeah. Sure.
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Your excitement is overwhelming me here.
Caffeine
Okay.
deprivation.
So I'm gonna cover this one with two mortgages. I got a first and a second mortgage, and I'm glad I remembered this by looking at this particular contract. There are some mortgage companies, Chase being one of them, There are some credit unions, and I don't recall the name. I think it was EECU. I don't recall for sure. But anyhow, there are some lenders out there that the mortgage accounts are connected to their bank accounts, their checking accounts. So just be aware that you may not always get the online access to log in and see the mortgage account because it's connected to their checking account. Okay? Chase is one of those. I think Wells Fargo is separate, and we have a couple of those accounts. So I'm pretty sure that one is good. But just know that you're going to have to rely on the change of address form, making sure you get that change of address submitted with the, the official mortgage company version of it, so that all those statements start coming to you in the future, and know that you won't be able to log into their account. By the way, I can't even remember the last time I had a seller push back on giving me access to the mortgage other than those that are connected to checking accounts. So don't think that they won't give it to you, because they will when they understand why it's important that you have it. First off, you can't do anything with it other than view stuff. I don't ever change the email addresses. We add our email address to it, but we don't ever take them off the account. So, we don't ever change login information. We don't want them to know. And this is all part of your plan and part of your story to them, to give them a comfort level that you have a plan and you know what you're doing when it comes to managing these types of accounts. Make them understand what you do. Make them understand what you're not going to do. You're not going to take them off the account. You're not changing passwords. You're not changing emails. You're just adding your email so that you receive the notices if there are any. And of course, you're changing the address. That statement you have to receive. I make sure it's clear to them that they can log in anytime and see the account just like they can today. Okay. So this deal was in Weatherford, and this was a brick 322 on 3.5 acres, and it was old. It was rode hard, put away wet. It stunk bad. It had the lady trained and competed with Great Danes. She had 11 Great Danes in this house. No comment?
Jeez.
11 Great Danes. They're like the size of a miniature horse,
That's 8 more than we have, Tim.
Well, this lady lived there for quite a few years. I can't remember how long she told me, but there was cages stacked up all over the place, in the bedrooms and stuff. No carpet in the house, as you can imagine. And it just reeked bad. And the same with the backyard. They had this special custom 10-foot chain link fence in the backyards for all the dogs to be penned up in the back. And, just mud everywhere from the dogs in the backyard coming up onto the house and porch. And I tell you, it was a challenge to get rid of the smell. And it really was. It had me worried. Anyhow, she was about to get married, wanted to go move into her fiance's property, which was way up north somewhere in Jack County. And they had a big ranch up there, and they wanted to go up there and where the dogs had more room and stuff. And she wanted to give her this house before the wedding. So 2 mortgages on it. Total purchase price was $192,546, and it was escrowed. And this is one that I couldn't see the mortgage because it was connected to the checking account, and that was the case with the second mortgage, which was with her credit union. So I had to, submit the change of addresses through her to them and get all that stuff changed over so we received those notices. So in this deal, we decided we bought it to rehab it to start with. So even though it was a subject to deal, I had no intentions of being able to go in and keep this house. It needed a rehab, and that was the only exit strategy that could be done on this house. So she wouldn't accept the lower cash offer, but she did accept the subject to deal. So that worked for me because then I had to have rehab money. All I did is took over the monthly payments, and then I used my cash on the rehabs. And that's usually what I'll do is I'll either do sub-2 purchase or private lender purchase. Then I use my cash for doing the rehabs and then put them back on the market for sale. This was a absolutely gorgeous house. I paid $192 for it, and it took me about 3 months, and I sold it at $350. And any rehabs we've been doing, this is all in the last couple of years, all the rehabs have been selling quickly, and we move on to the next one. So this particular house, though, we spent about $60,000 in rehab. This was a pretty good size rehab. We totally reorganized the kitchen, opened it all up because it was a very closed design with upper cabinets in it, and the way the oven and stuff had dual ovens on it. We had to take that wall out and open it up to the living room, and took all the beams off the ceiling and stuff to help brighten it up, because the house, it didn't have, a lot of the windows were on the back side of the house, which had a big covered porch. And that big covered porch, with all the trees being on 3.5 acres, all those trees, it was just really dark. So by taking the beams off the ceiling and being able to paint everything bright white, that just helped open it up and put new lighting and stuff in it. We also put all new windows in it, new heat and air. I mean, it was a drop-dead gorgeous house. And in the end, I think we paid 3 mortgage payments during that time frame. It might have been 4, but all that stuff was paid, and home was rehabbed and sold quickly. I've done probably 3 or 4 subject to deals that I did a fix and flip on. And it's not a lot of people don't do that with sub twos. A lot of them do the buy and hold and owner finance strategies, but these happen to be pretty sad houses that needed the rehab. It would have been hard to do anything with the houses without rehabbing them. So, and usually my exit strategy is, if I'm going to go spend $50,000, $60,000 on a rehab, I don't want to own or finance that house. I want to turn it around and get the profits back out of it and go do another house. I just don't think that that's a good use of the cash, having all that cash tied up in the house. Subject to strategy gives you an opportunity to take possession of a lot of property with very little cash tied up in it. That's why I like the buy and hold and the owner finance strategy so well with it. But when you start doing fix and flips with it, then that means you're going to have a lot of your cash tied up in that house from the rehab. Does that make sense to everybody? Is there anybody that's got a question on that? Why that is?
Was the 192 just the mortgages, or was some of that cash to the seller?
That was the mortgage balance.
So you didn't have to pay any additional cash to them?
I did not. She knew the house was rode hard and put away wet. She knew that it was a big ticket to rehab that house. So she accepted it right off. She didn't have any problem with it at all. Which, that kind of tells you I paid too much, right?
Would it make any type of sense when doing the sub-2 deal to get hard money for the repairs?
What's your exit strategy?
Well, I suppose if you were intending on flipping it to make some quick cash, would that be a viable option?
So people do hard money to fix and flip all the time with. People
Right.
also get in trouble all the time with hard money when they can't
Okay.
turn the property fast enough.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not telling you no, but I'm not telling you yes. Again,
Right.
it depends.
It's just safer using your own cash.
You are.
Okay.
But-
All right. No
but-
problem.
But it also, you know, if you have your ducks in a row, you have the
Right.
right contractors, you got the right marketing, you know what you're doing, it's turned quickly. Could you do it?
Sure.
Sure. But you
Sure.
got to make the numbers work. Remember,
Right.
money is going to eat up more of your
Right.
profits. And
Right.
you have a very, very, very strict timeline to work with.
I
in
see.
those type of deals.
So the first
So-
few deals, even using your own money would be cool. That way get cheaper. You wouldn't have that type of stress. And as you get more deals and want to streamline more at once, you start hard moneying maybe those.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
once you get things going, you may not even need the hard money.
Sure.
You know,
Okay.
so you know, this is where you need to work on your business model
Right.
and decide what kind of chunk of cash you're going to take out of every deal you do and set aside
Right.
for your reserves so that you can get the cash built up. So now you're independent of having to work with somebody else for the money.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. But I just caution everybody trying to use hard money. I mean, there's deals that warrant it, but remember, you got to have a big enough deal
Right.
that's going to cover it. And you also may find some difficulties. You might reach out to Ryan with Longhorn and talk to him about this. Some of these lenders are not going to allow you to take hard money as a second lien position.
I guess that was my main question is if the property was purchased subject to, would a hard money lender still be willing to lend on the repairs, and your payment would be much smaller since you're not using them to actually buy the house as well?
I think you're going to find that most of the true hard money lenders are probably not going to do that.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Because they're not in control. They're not in that first lien position.
I see. Okay. I get that. I see what you mean.
Yeah. However, you know, you've heard me talk about private money lenders and building relationships, and you will find private money lenders out there that
Sure.
will lend in second lien position.
Sure.
So you know, this is where having the trust and relationship with somebody, you know, sometimes that might be family. Family
Sure.
willing to lend you money for those
Sure.
types of deals. But I've had several private money lenders that are happy to lend in the second lien position.
Right.
But you need to take care of those people. Maybe add
Right.
some added interest for them. And
Right.
you certainly, without a doubt, no matter how good a deal you made or didn't make, you need to take care of that lender come hell or
Right.
high water and
Absolutely.
not make them be on the short end of the stick. Even if you
Absolutely.
lose money, you need to pay that lender
Right. Absolutely.
without exception.
Absolutely.
So one of the things I do with my private lenders is, you know, they treat me well. I treat them well. They don't charge me points, which is one of the big benefits of
Sure.
private money.
Right.
So what I do in return is I always pay them a minimum of 6 months interest in the deal, no matter what.
Sure.
So whether it's 1 month or 5, they
Right.
still get the minimum of 6 months.
Right. I see.
Okay.
Make it worth their while. Sure.
Yep. And you know, that keeps them happy and they keep lending.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions on deals? All right, moving on.
I sent you one privately. I finally got the monthly payment on it, so
Okay.
you got it.
All right. So how to communicate with the mortgage company. So, you know, most people or many investors, you know, they're scared to death with having a need to actually communicate with the lender. And, you know, the first thing is they're not going to talk to you at all without having this authorization signed by the seller to allow you to talk to them on their behalf. So again, I can't stress enough the importance of having this document. And we didn't used to get the mortgage company version of it until just the last couple of years. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, but now we do because it just saves you so much time. Just get the document up front. The other reason it's important is if the seller leaves, you know, closes after the closing and they leave town and you never hear from them again or can't talk to them, can't reach them for whatever reason, at least this way you have the form already signed. So I can't stress how important this is to get this document signed before as part of your closing docs. Okay? It's a rare thing that you'll ever have to speak to the mortgage company. So if you're worried about that, really don't be. But if you have a need, you need that form first. And, you know, you're going to want to pay very close attention to what you say and how you say it. But my experience, and I've had, three that come to mind, and there may be more over the years where I've had a need to. Actually, all three of them were insurance related.
And Tim, for clarity, what form is this?
The authorization to release information, speak to the mortgage company. So if it's a Wells Fargo, Bank of America, you know, Gateway Mortgage, whoever it is, you want their third party, what they call a third party authorization, which the seller is giving the lender the permission to speak to you on their behalf. Okay, got it?
Got it, thanks.
So the three occasions that I recall were all insurance. One was the fire situation I told you about earlier. One was I sold it on a wrap. We had the insurance agent that the buyer chose to use. And by the way, I would encourage you to always try and send your buyers to an insurance agent that will do wrap mortgages, such as Burdick Insurance. But you can't force the buyer to use your agent. But this particular buyer went to their own agent. I always have the evidence of insurance or declaration page sent to me to review first to make sure it's correct before they send it to the escrow department. Well, they did it incorrectly. I sent it back to them with the corrections. They corrected it. They submitted it. We were good for a year. Next year comes around, it's time to renew. They submitted it wrong directly to the lender. Why in the world they didn't save what they did or they changed it, I don't have a clue. But they didn't do it correctly. So we didn't know it until sometime down the road when the lender sent a letter and said, you have 30 days to get the correct insurance on this property, or we're going to put a forced place policy on. And if you don't know what a forced place policy is, the mortgage company puts their own insurance on it, and it costs you about 3 times the normal rate. Now, if you have a buyer in there, or even a renter, and the PITI is based on $1,500 a month, or is $1,500 a month, and let's say you're renting it for $1,800, and the insurance company, the mortgage company puts a forced place policy on there and it's 3 times the normal rate, what's that going to do to your PITI, and how's that going to impact your rental or owner finance rates? It's going to go through the roof, if not put you into the negative. I hope you understand that part. That's why this insurance thing is so critical. Don't take yourself out of the the chain of command there and don't ignore it. Make your buyers understand, either if you still own it as a rental, make sure it's filled out correctly. Talk to Dave Burdick and let him help you, let him do it, but make sure he understands the whole deal so he knows who the players are that need to be on that evidence of insurance. If you have sold it on a wrap, make sure your buyers understand that they need to give their agent permission to talk to you and submit that evidence of insurance or deck page to you first to review, to make sure it's correct. Absolutely critical. This is one of those things not to do. Don't ignore this. This is important. It is one of the things that can cause you to have headaches with sub-2 deals. If it's done right, you minimize the problems considerably. Any questions on that piece? Be truthful and only say what needs to be said. Don't tell them any more than necessary to get what you need done. You don't want to get into it about what you really did with them. Again, it's not very often that you have to deal with this. Now, here's one of the last scenario I did was with Gateway Mortgage. And it was all because my buyer had an insurance claim and his agent submitted the wrong deck page, and it was just submitted before this insurance claim, and his agent filled out the check incorrectly and had the check going to him, to my buyer, and didn't have it going to the mortgage company and the borrower's name like it was supposed to have gone. So he went to, he sat on it. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The check was made out with his name as the buyer and the mortgage company, but the mortgage company wouldn't sign it because it was missing the borrower's name. That's what it was. So then he sat on it when it was kicked back to him. He sat on it until the check expired. So he had to go get the check renewed with his insurance agent. We had to get the authorization submitted to the mortgage company for me to talk to him. And then I had to call him and say, look, and I was just honest with him. I didn't mislead them in any way. I said, the home was sold on owner financing, which is what I told them. Okay. Sold on owner financing, and we have an insurance claim check that was made out in the wrong way. How do we fix it? So they told me what had to be done. They didn't question it. This is why I keep saying this to everybody. You might worry, the lender has the right to call loan due, but I'm telling you, if the property is insured correctly and the payments are being made correctly on time and stuff, and there's no issues with the account, they don't care who's making those payments. They told me what had to be done to get that check signed. They told me who to send it to. We sent it. This drives my point home about the importance of you getting this that third-party authorization and the change of address. I guess I didn't back up far enough, but that change of address done, because here's the importance of that, and here's what's going to happen to you in this scenario. The lender's not going to send you squat. When that insurance check was sent in to be signed, they're not going to send it to you, even though you have the authorization. They're going to send it to the borrower. Okay? You follow me so far? It's going to the borrower. that change of address that I keep talking about, how important it is, you want to make sure that you receive that check. So it's going to go in the borrower's name to the address on record. Hopefully you submitted the change of address to come to you. And then this is where your power of attorney comes into play. If you have that power of attorney authorizing you to sign insurance claims checks, then you can go get that check signed. I had a really good relationship with my buyer, and he was very trusting with me because I could have taken that check and ran, you know, but he knew that I was getting that check from the original borrower, and that the only way around this deal was that that check had to go to the original borrower, and then that would be forwarded to me. I had the power of attorney to cash it, and then I paid him that money for his insurance check. Does that all make sense? Do you understand what I just said?
Yes.
Very, very important. These little details, these are things that I've learned over the years. So, you know, these are things that you get to take advantage of as the things that I've learned and the systems that we've put in place to protect us all and be able to get business done. But there's never been an issue since with that. There's never been a question about whose name was on public records or anything. Did I lie to them? I told them that the house had been sold on owner finance, and I am helping them get this insurance claim handled. And I had actually, I was nowhere in that deal at that point because we had, the way we sold it, my name was nowhere in there. But there's no way that that buyer could ever talk to the seller or talk to the lender. Can you imagine what would have happened if my buyer would have called the mortgage company and tried to talk to them? So, you know, that some of these things like this are just parts of the business. You just have to make sure you plan for it the best you can and have these systems in place and these documents, these authorizations in place. And we're about to go in and talk about communications with sellers here in a minute, but you'll see how important that is. Again, it's a rare thing that you will ever have to talk to the mortgage company. But when you do, don't be afraid. You just have to have your ducks in a line and know what you're going to say and what needs to be said. And don't mislead them. Don't say something that's not true. And don't start getting diarrhea of the mouth and tell them all kinds of stuff that you did. Yes.
Have you ever had another mortgage company take over and then having problems tracking back down the original seller to do a second release?
Never. Never had that problem.
Yeah, we've had a lot of loans where transfer to services.
You're really breaking up.
Yeah, we've had a lot of loans where the servicer changed. Maybe one would turn into Mr. Cooper or turn into Diatech, change account numbers altogether. We've had that happen probably more than.
Who is this? Is this Pete?
No, this is Joel.
Joel?
From San Antonio.
Okay, Joel. Sorry, for some reason your picture's not showing up on the screen while you're talking. So, no, that's kind of weird. That's not a scenario I've had a problem with. Okay. This is, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but this is some of the things that you're going to need from the seller: a copy of the mortgage and details, the mortgage account login access, current insurance policy. We only want that current policy just to see what the coverages are and the company and the contact and stuff. Remember, we're going to reach out to them and do a change of address. instantly so that any kind of future claims or anything, communications from the insurance company to the seller is coming to you. But remember, as soon as you close, you're going to start pursuing, getting your new policy in place. You're going to start before that. So you want to get your new policy in place, and you want to confirm that it's correct. And then you want to confirm that it got submitted and accepted by the escrow department. I do not recommend that you just let it go and assume it's submitted. I would highly recommend that you confirm it. Home warranties, if there are anything. Blue line survey, if they have it, and most people do. Just I tell them, go find your house folder for when you purchased, and you bring us all that stuff when we meet. Bring that whole folder and let's see what's in there for us. Most of the time they have the stuff. A deed, if there's one available, not a big deal if you don't. Current property tax statement. These are just helpful things to have on file. Again, I'm a details person. I want all this stuff from their purchase that I can acquire from them in my files. I scan it, save it, and then that way I have it if I ever have to reference it. I always like to look at the HUD if I can, just to see, what they did pay and when, just as a baseline. Homeowners Association info. Well, I'm having my first experience with pecan plantation in Granbury. And I don't know if anybody else on the call has done a deal inside pecan plantation, but oh my God, are they proud of their HOA prices. Not only is it
mortgage.
What's that?
Almost a second mortgage payment.
Oh, no doubt. The bad thing is it's bad enough that it's $150 a month, but they have these other transfer fees that cost me $4,600 total to get into this house. So for those of you in the local area here, watch out if you're going to pecan plantation. They're expensive. A lot of benefits there, but they have a lot of overhead and really charge you a lot of money. So previous home inspections, this is not required, but it's a nice thing to have so you can see just what was identified back then. Copies of their ID from all owners. And nowadays, I don't accept black and white copies. I want digital color so I can clearly read them. Same thing with Social Security numbers. Got to have it. Got to have date of birth. Their ID must have date of birth in there somewhere. That's going to be a part of your access and logging in online to most mortgage companies these days. You're going to have that date of birth and the last four typically of the Social Security number. Any keys that they may have, garage door remotes, alarm codes, that kind of stuff, pool access codes, and keys. Of course, if you're actually joining the HOA, then you're going to get new keys and stuff for there. So just keep that in mind. Forwarding address, I should say that forwarding home address and not new, but the forwarding address, phone numbers, emails for all owners. And if they have adult kids, you might even try and get that contact information as well. I have a buyer that is Hispanic and he speaks pretty good English, but he really prefers for me to talk through his daughter. So we have the daughter's information. Okay, we already talked about closing. So is there any questions about any of the stuff that we want from the sellers? Anything at all? That checklist is things that, I've never seen anywhere else. It's just things to help you prepare and try not to miss things that you need and regret not getting it before closing. I can tell you that a lot of sellers, when they sell, especially if it's distressed seller, a lot of times when they close, it's hard to reach them afterwards. So if you get all that stuff in advance, you're just that much further ahead. Communications after closing. This is falls right into the next topic. You know, keep in good communications with the seller. Make them understand. I'm going to tell you that if you get a seller that pushes back on everything, you might be talking to the wrong seller. When you come into this kind of a deal, this is not like doing a wholesale deal. You meet them once or twice, sign some documents, go to closing, and you never see them again. And they don't think twice about you, and you don't think twice about them. In a sub-2 deal, you're forming a long-term relationship. They become family almost, or need to be, because you've got to keep in touch. They've got to keep in touch. They need to understand the importance of this. Don't let this go away. You need to be able to figure out a way to keep in touch. And nowadays, you know, there's a lot of ways to do that. In the old days, you had a letter or a phone number. You know, you could send them a letter and have a phone number for them and hope that they don't change those things. But nowadays, you know, you've got social media, you got email, text, snail mail, birthday cards, Christmas cards. Those are all ways I think that you could help at least keep you in the back of their mind if you're always putting your name out there and talking to them and popping up in their life. And of course, a lot of people are on social media, not everybody. So you got to find out what the best way to communicate with them is and just make them understand. You might send a periodic letter just to check in and see if they respond. You might ask a question in hopes that they respond. So you kind of get to confirm that that they're still alive and you're still connected. So find ways to keep in touch. You know, you might ask them what the best way is, but you know, ask them to keep you posted on job changes or if they're moving somewhere else and things like that. But you can test them somewhat too with text and email. Who doesn't read a text nowadays, right? So if they do text, that might be a good way to keep in touch. Don't just reach out to them when you need something. You might reach out to them and give them, force feed them with an update on the house. Hey, things are going well with the buyers. They're taking good care of it. They love it. You know, they're working on credit repair. How's everything going with you guys? And see if they answer. Just another way to try and keep two-way communications going. But they really do. I can't stress the importance enough about keeping in touch. Like my seller situation with the fire, just think if my seller would have moved to Okinawa, Japan or Iwakuni, Japan and forgot about me, changed email addresses. I didn't have a phone number for him in Japan, but fortunately he still had the same email. But just think if he would have changed emails when he got over there and not kept me posted, could have been a little bit of a problem, right? Buyers, same kind of thing. You want to be open and honest with them, same kind of notices. You want them to keep in touch with you. I know it's not a subject to kind of deal, but it's on the exit strategy side. Just as important, you want your buyers to be talking to you. You want to be talking to them to try and keep that communications open. You want to know that they're moving forward if it's an owner finance buyer. Tenants isn't quite the same, but it's good to have good communications. And it's good that they know that they can reach out to you whenever they need help. Okay, testimonials and reviews. We talked about credibility at the beginning. So by the way, we're getting close to wrapping it up here, so hang in there, just about done. So testimonials and reviews, like we talked about earlier when Martin was on, you know, the prime time is while they're excited. Get them while you can, get them while they're excited, pumped up. catch them at the closing table or right after, or if they are busy at the title company, step outside and do a short little video or something, but try to do that as quick as you can. I say that, I teach that, and I don't always get it done. So I can tell you that, you know, the further away from closing, the harder it is to get them to remember how much you helped them, the problem that you solved for them. And people are busy too. That's the other part of it. It's not just that they don't appreciate it, but they're all busy. Hard to take time to give you time to do the video. Video's the best, right on the spot. You know, you can also do, I use BombBomb video email. And it's another great option for you, because all you can send them a video email. We could be doing this on video email right here. And when at the very bottom of, when you send it and they receive it, right at the very top, there's a reply with video button. All they got to do is click the reply button and hit record. There's no software or anything. And then hit send and it's done. So it's a very simple process. You just got to get them to do it. Again, if you can do it on the spot, even better. Social media, well, written reviews, you can do those too. It's just not as good if, you know, if it's not up on the web page. The video reviews, if you can get them on your website, get them on YouTube, all the better. Social media reviews, very good. Google My Business. If you don't have a Google My Business account already, I highly recommend you get one. It's free. And then don't just create it without setting it up. Go through the profile and set it up so that people know who you are, what you do, and how to reach you. Don't forget the profile. Go set it up. Better Business Bureau. This is one that costs. It's worth it once you get business established to go get your Better Business Bureau account set up and become a member, and then work towards becoming accredited. And that says a lot to a lot of people. Other people don't like Better Business Bureau, but I've had people call me from reading reviews and want to do business with me because they like what they read. And that's what you want to hear. That's music to your ears, right? So just put it on your list. Nothing you have to do today if money's an issue, but know that in the future you should go get it. And then, of course, the BBB logo, the links, all that goes on your website so people can see those reviews very easy from your page. Get pictures of you and the sellers, absolutely, whenever you can, because those can be posted on web pages and social media. Do your best to do these at closing as well while they're still excited. I did a good picture title company one day with owner finance buyers, and they had all this cash and they were, you know, fanning it open and stuff, and we got some good pictures of that, so that was pretty good. What I've tried to do, and again, some people just don't make it easy to accomplish this, but I have even put together a document with links in it so that people can just click on the link and go write the review and make it simple that way. Some people take advantage of that, some people don't. But I would encourage you to make it as simple as you possibly can. Okay, asset protection and consideration. This is one of those that we don't have much time for, but I want to mention it. When you go to buy your subject to deals, you know, people always ask me, do you put it in your personal name? Do you use a legal entity, or do you do a trust? And, you know, many people use subject to and land trust in conjunction with one another. And the land trust strategies is an asset protection strategy, which is really and estate planning. So what it does is in a nutshell, it keeps your personal name off public records, and if done correctly, being in a trust bypasses probate. So there's a whole lot of teaching and training on what I just said in that one sentence that we don't have time for today. but I'm going to give you some resources. You can go learn some more about it. So you need to think about that, what you want to do. Is there anything wrong with your personal name? No, but I don't really recommend using your personal name in business. So the next thing is legal entity. You can buy sub-2 deals in your LLC, in your corporation, that you go get set up. Now, if you don't have that set up yet, then don't let having to use your personal name stop you from buying a house. Do you want to go implement land trust now? If you can, so be it. But that's not required. You don't have to do that from day one. Go make some money first, then set up an entity. Go make some money first, then learn more about the land trust strategies and implement that. So don't let not having those things set up impact you going out and buying a house. You need to go make some money. Don't turn that down. If you're worried about that, call me. Let me go do it. Let's partner. But don't turn it down just because you don't have those things in place. Subject to and land trust work hand in hand, and you'll see that the more you get into this business and study these areas, they really do. It's a good strategy. You don't have to use, by the way, land trust can be on, your fix and flips. It can be on your buy and holds. Highly recommend it when you get to that point. Again, you don't have to know it today. Land trust is a process used for many for asset protection. Like I said, it keeps your name off public records, and it helps avoid probate when it's done correctly. There's a lot of people that even, land trust offers another layer of protection in case there's ever any kind of a lawsuit. Doesn't guarantee anything. It just makes it harder for somebody to go in and find you without putting a little effort into it. And if you make it hard enough to find you, then that means the lawyer fees are going to go up. That means the person that, if they're just trying to file a frivolous lawsuit on you, they may change their mind if it's going to cost more money. So it is a asset protection strategy that's worth looking at and implementing when the time comes for you. It offers the ability for owners to keep their name off public records, and when used in certain ways, you can even mask the change of ownership, because you can sell the beneficial interest of the trust, and the trust name itself never changes. And the trust name is the owner of the property. So let's say you went and you made a subject to offer on 123 Main Street, Joe Smith. You could name that trust the 123 Main Street Smith Property Trust. And then your beneficial interest be your LLC. Well, when you purchase that home and go to closing, that 123 Main Street Smith Property Trust is the official owner of that property, along with the trustee, whoever you choose as a trustee for that property. That'll be on public records. Well, you can actually assign beneficial interest to a trust so that that it's just assigning the interest in it, which means you could assign your interest to Lisa or Joe or Mike or whoever, and it masks the ownership change on public records. So it's a cool strategy. And this is all stuff that you would learn from the guy that I follow, Randy Hughes. He is very well known as Mr. Land Trust. And there are several in the country that teach this stuff. I've been doing trust for a lot of years, and I follow different people, but currently I like Randy, and I'm studying his stuff, using his forms and so forth. And we are more and more implementing his documentation in our business for asset protection. You can go in this link right here you can go register and watch one of his webinars and learn more about it. And, you know, at the end of it, he's got an offer for you on a class and forms and stuff. But it is very economical if you decide to go this route. He is very well known, and you'll see that from things you go read online and if you go research him. And there's a lot of folks here in DFW and in the group actually that are using his documentation. He has spoken at our group a couple different times and has done very well in the group. So highly recommend that you take the time to go check it out. Nothing, like I said, it's not anything you need to do today, but keep this link. We can put this link in the chat if you'd like, but it'll be in this presentation. By the way, when you will all get the PowerPoint, you do need to put the PowerPoint in presentation mode in order to have any of the links work, to just click on the link. So keep that in mind, put it in presentation mode, and any of the links in here will work for you that way. Any questions on that at all? On Randy's stuff?
I do. Everybody's asking for that link into the chat, and I have no accessibility to do that for you. So that's a you thing.
All righty, hold on. Let me do it right now so we don't get too far off the path from this. Whoops. 1 second. So while I'm doing this, has anybody got questions about land trust or about Randy Hughes? Nobody? Okay, so hold on just a second. Everyone. So tell me if you received this, because this looks like it is only going to the waiting room, and for some reason I'm not getting.
You sent it to the waiting room.
But it's not giving me everybody. So hold on a second. Let me see what I'm doing wrong here. All right, so Pam, I'm going to send this to you. For some reason, it's not presenting everyone in here.
I got it. I was able to steal it out of, because I can see your waiting room comment. So I got it. Everybody's got it now.
Cool. Okay, good. All right, so.
Thank you.
Going back here, share again. Almost done, guys. Hang in there. Couple more slides. Okay, so there's. Okay, so subject to form package. Everybody going to go out and buy it right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Nobody's jumping up and down and excited.
It's free, right? No.
Man, you look, so somebody was listening when they heard I said free. Man.
Where is it at? I don't have it.
That's because I haven't given it to you. So, you know, this price here is peanuts for what you're getting, okay? But as I said earlier, it's free. It's free. It's free. Is everybody
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
Everybody clear on that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, moving on here. So we're going to wrap it up. What to expect next, okay? So I am going to, it takes us a couple of days. As you can imagine, there's a lot of video and a lot of audio here. It's going to take a couple of days to get all that processed, get it uploaded, and get it posted. You will receive an email notice from me when it's available to you and where it's available at. I think I'm going to be able to share it. I got to confirm this, but I'll be able to share this on our group calendar for today's event where you all registered, except for the folks from Joe's group. You will be able to still go to the calendar, I think. It'll only be for attendees of the workshop today. If I'm unable to share that, I will send you a Dropbox link that will have all of that in it. Okay? Be patient with me. It's going to take a couple of days to get all this pulled together. You will also get the PowerPoint slides from today. I will fix the slides that I totally blew, and I will do my best to have the offer stuff inserted into it that I told you I would. And if I don't, then that'll be a follow-on email to you. Okay? The forms, all of the forms that I'm going to give you will be the same way. They will either be on the calendar for attendees only, or will be a Dropbox link. Please do not share these. There's a lot of money. Like I said, I shouldn't even be giving them away, but there's a lot of money, a lot of hours, a lot of sweat, a lot of experience put into these things. And we work hard to put these together, and I want you to appreciate them, but I don't want you to give them away to anybody else, please. Okay? Watch your email closely. It'll come from the West DFW REI group. When we announce that, they're ready for you to go download. The audio, I highly recommend that you go download that so that you can play it anytime. It will be playable on the webpage, but the video will take you out to YouTube, and you'll be able to watch all of these. They will all be private videos, so nobody will see them except those that attended today. Again, please do not share that link. My request of you, take action. Don't go home. Well, you are home. So, but don't just sit there and do nothing with the new toolbox, the new tools that you have in your toolbox, and not use it. The best thing you could ever do is go start making a mess out there, talking to sellers, getting things under contract. Make sure you get a good option period so you have time to go fix it if you did make a mess of it. And then get with somebody if you need help, but get with somebody and get that deal done so you can start making some money. You need this as a confidence builder. You need to stay away from family that's a non-believer and don't believe a thing you're saying about being able to buy houses with no money. You need to just go do it, get that shut up check, and make a believer out of them and make a believer out of you. Remember, you need to be able to be confident in this in order to explain it to the seller for them to be confident in it. Okay? Don't sit home and do nothing with this and forget about it. I know people that have gone to Ron McGran's master's program, which is big, big, big bucks, I can tell you, because I paid it. And then they never, all they do is go to seminar after seminar after seminar and won't pull the trigger. Don't let that be you. Use it or lose it. If you don't use this stuff, you're going to lose it. You snooze, you lose. If you don't take action, you're going to miss out on opportunities and lose the opportunity to help somebody and to make money and get that check in the box and start building your confidence. You need to do this. My final request of you is, if you enjoyed this, what you learned today, please help me by telling others about the event and give me a testimonial. It's very simple. I really, really appreciate it, and it would help others who are thinking about our future classes or the group itself, either one. So please consider that. I would also like your recommendations for improvement. And I know I spit and sputter a few times today, and I didn't have a couple things totally ready, but I can assure you that I will fix that, and I will get it done and get it submitted to you as I told you I would. I can tell you that there's only so many hours in a day, and this presentation has got so much stuff in it, it was hard to just physically have the time to get all of it done, but you will get what I told you you would. As a thank you for you taking 1 to 3 minutes of your time to record a testimonial review for me, I'm willing to offer you these bonuses. Now, all I'm asking for is 1 to 3 minutes of your time, not a whole lot. But somebody mentioned earlier that they were asking about where do you get these reports? Well, I want to give you the reports in return for you giving me a 1 to 3 minute video. I have a fantastic selling your house subject to special report that's designed specifically for sellers. So you could either put that on your webpage or both. You can print it and give it as a leave behind. That's what we call it. If you go out and meet the seller, you can leave it behind with them. That explains more in detail about what you do, what you offer, and how the whole selling subject to process works. Very helpful document, 11 pages. You can edit it. It's a Word document. You can put your own words in it, tweak it up any way you want, however you want to explain to your sellers on what you can do for them. And that report in itself is worth attending this class today. I mean, that's a huge, huge sales tool for you with sellers.
And where do you send the video?
I'm going to tell you in just a minute. Thank you. So I'm going to give you a stop foreclosure guide. It's 6 pages. This is another great document to provide sellers or put on your webpage. Okay, I'm going to give it to you. It's a Microsoft Word document. You can tweak it, edit it, do whatever you want with it. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to give you a 9-part audio that I did on the pros and cons of taking the deed. This is the recording I did on a few months ago, where was all about the thought process, the strategy, the looking at it from a good deal versus a bad deal, you know, what kinds of deals might be good and bad. That's what this audio series is about, is 9 parts. It's like 2.5 hours total. We broke this one down into smaller chunks so that it was easier to listen to without, you know, you having to listen to a 2-hour file or a 3-hour file. So we broke it all down in smaller parts. I'm going to give you that again, all 3 of these things as a thank you for just 1 to 3 minutes of your time. Now, I'm not going to cut you off at 3 minutes, but 3 minutes, I'm just asking for a short, straight to the point testimonial of what you thought of the event today. We can record this immediately after the Zoom call ends today. I'm exhausted just like you are, but it's one of those things, just like getting video testimonials from your sellers. Get it while you can. If you're willing to do it, I'll stay around and I'll do it. Otherwise, if you want to do that, if you would, just go ahead and drop your name in the email to the questions address for me. And then Pamela will have that. And then we'll send you a link to record the video. So if you don't want to do it in Zoom, that's what I'm talking. I didn't say that clearly here. I'm tired and can't talk now. But if you don't want to do it right now, then put your name in the email and send it to us. And I will send you a link. Remember I told you about BombBomb video email? I will send you a short BombBomb video email. All you have to do is click on the link above the video that says reply with video. Click on record, no software download, record what you want to say. All I would really ask that you do is mention my name, mention the group, mention the topic today, and then what you thought of it. And would you recommend it to anybody else? So pretty simple, straightforward, okay? So upcoming events, both Western REI group and the Dallas REI group have calendars on our groups. So there's a link for it, but you can also go to the website directly and just click on calendar, and you will see all the events that we both have scheduled. Whether you consider Dallas REI Group or the West DFW REI Group, highly recommend that you consider becoming a member, or even both. That we both have a lot of value to add. It's a very strong support team there. You can build your power team there, a lot of networking there. So think about doing that. Anybody that does decide they want to join today, type action taker in the chat box, and I will give you a $20 discount off of our normal membership pricing for attending this class today. Just put action taker in the chat. We'll know who you are, and then we will send you a link directly that'll give you a $20 discount off our annual membership, not the monthly, but the annual membership. And be sure you read, just like I tell sellers, be sure you read everything in the members benefits. If you're not already a member, go read the members benefits. Don't just sign up. I appreciate you trusting me in doing that, but go read it. You'll see that for the money, you're going to get so much for that money.
Forget, Tim, that you give a veterans discount.
I do. Make sure you put veterans, in that chat with it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, joint ventures. Remember I told you earlier about, I was going to show you how to get a hold of me for joint venture deals. All you do is click on this website or just type in that website, dfwhousesolutions.com. That's actually one of my seller sites. It's the site that's attached to my group website. So it's what the members get. And in that site, you'll see a link, say, sell your property. Well, it's really designed for sellers, but you can go in there, submit your property, and then in the comments box, put your contact information, your name, and tell me what you know about the deal and that you would like to joint venture with me. Be sure you tell me you're submitting this as a potential joint venture deal with me, and we will reach out to you and talk to you about that. Be sure you give me as much details as you can about this property, okay? And then myself or Pamela will reach out to you and schedule an appointment for time to talk to me, and we'll see if we can work together on that deal. Any questions about that? So I just clicked on the link. There's the site. Simply come over here, sell your house, even though it's not your house, but this is just my way of you getting the information to me easily. And then that dumps it into the back office on my group website here. And then just follow the prompts, click the next step. And just, again, don't forget, we want your email here, your name, but then in the comments box, tell me as much as you can about that deal. Okay, couple resources for you. We're just about done here. I talked about a lot of different things today. Websites, for those that are members of the group, you get a free site, but there's a premium upgrade that's available, and there's a demo right here that you can go watch on these tools. They actually have, if you're a member, one of the downloads available to you is a audio file on buying houses subject to. It's done by Mike Jacka. He is the owner, the creator of our REI Club software that we use for the West DFW REI Group. And he is also a very, very active investor, and he's created a subject to audio that's available to all members in the group. So you might go download that. But in there, they also have all kinds of tools in this premium upgrade system here. They have an offer generator, they have a deal analyzer, they have a repair estimator, and they have a seller net sheet. The two things that are really important, I think, is the the offer generator and the seller net sheet, because it spits out 8 offers almost instantly. One of them is, or a couple of them is subject to. So it's worth watching the demo and then deciding if that's an upgrade for you that you like. You can go just do an upgrade right here I know there's a couple of you on the call that are on the premium system, and I think last time I talked to you, you were loving it. So it's a powerful, powerful system. We talked about websites earlier. I do a variety of different websites for a variety of reasons, but Investor Carrot is definitely a powerful one. You can go see more about them right here with this link. And then I mentioned RealFlow. Watch your calendars. I'm going to be doing a RealFlow overview. It's a huge CRM. I've been on it 10 plus years. That should tell you something. But I love that tool, and I'm going to start teaching it and sharing it with everybody in the group, and I hope you'll join the call when I do that. And then there's a link for BombBomb Video Email. If you choose to try it out for yourself in your own business, there's a link right there. You can use either one of those links. I think the top one here connects you with a rep with them that can help you, train you on it. But if you just want to go try it out, you can use this second link here. Go play with it and see what you think. It's super simple, and most people like video today instead of text. Who likes to read text messages or text-based messages? Okay, so will you provide the video testimonial? I hope so. We can do it immediately after, so hang on if you decide to do that. You can tell me in the chat if you want to do that as well, so I stick around and don't cancel or don't end the call. Everybody doesn't have to stay on. If you decide you don't want to do it right now, you can just drop off when you're ready. Or we can send you the BombBomb video link. Just tell me that in the email so that I know which way to go, okay? Just drop your name in the email in the chat, and we'll send you that link. As a thank you again, I'm going to give you these things, just a reminder. I don't know how you can say no, but I'm giving you all that for 1 to 3 minutes of your time. Membership does have its benefits. I mentioned that earlier. Go see the membership benefits on our site. I'll give you that $20 discount if you decide to become an action taker. And then the Dallas REI group, I'm sure, has membership benefits and a link sign up on their site as well. Go check out Joe's group and see what you think, okay? I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you we both have sponsors. These are ours. Joe's group has their own set of sponsors. These are sponsors you can trust. You don't want to go just calling out of the yellow pages or classified ads looking for people that you need help from. I would highly recommend that you deal with people that are a known entity and you can trust. And you can go see more on our sponsors page by just clicking on this link. You notice it's hyperlinked. And all of these folks are people that you could send your grandmother to and be able to still sleep at night because they are trustworthy. So go check them out, give them an opportunity to earn your business. And with that, I think I'm done.